Hi, this is Sarit Switzer, and welcome to the It Is Taught podcast, a podcast devoted to the teachings of Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi as recorded in his most famous work, the Tanya. My hope for this show is to make these teachings accessible and relatable to the average person, regardless of prior Jewish education or affiliation. The episodes follow the prescribed daily study portions and are meant to serve as practical lessons in how to live your life as your true self and develop an authentic and powerful relationship with your Creator. I have personally experienced the effects the study of this work has had on me, and I'm excited to share what I can of this knowledge with you. So please join me on this journey of learning, self-growth, and connection with your source. Hi, and welcome to the It Is Taught podcast. This is episode 88 for the 17th of Adar Aleph in a leap year, and we are continuing with chapter 30. And today's topic is going to be kind of a continuation of yesterday, and maybe a little bit of like a stipulation of what we learned yesterday. So if you recall yesterday's episode, and if you don't, please go back and listen to it. It's a good one, in my opinion. As you'll see there, it's a topic that really speaks to me in a very deep way, is the whole idea of not judging people and the whole idea of giving people the benefit of the doubt. And when we see people do things that we would never do, that we find embarrassing, that really repulse us kind of, it's easy for us to judge. And the Alter Rebbe taught us yesterday that we should never judge other people and we should never think of ourselves as being better than other people, because we really don't know how we would contend if we were put in such a situation. And we should really give people the benefit of the doubt and understand that people are facing all kinds of different struggles, all kinds of different temptations that we really know nothing about. So based on this, and this is my understanding of what we're going to be learning on today, this line of thinking could then lead somebody to erroneously believe that there is no such thing as personal responsibility, and that people are really not responsible for their actions. So I don't want to make this too political, but again, it's my podcast, so I can kind of take it in whatever direction I want, I suppose. There is kind of like this understanding in a lot of circles today that people are not really responsible for their actions, that when we look at different criminals and things like that, we shouldn't be treating them so harshly. Maybe we shouldn't even arrest them. Maybe we shouldn't put them in jail, because we should understand that criminals are really just victims of their circumstances. And that perhaps if only they were given the right upbringing, the right family, the right schooling, the right socioeconomic background, the murderer would not murder, or the thief would not become a burglar, or whatever it is. And what we're going to be learning about today is this is not the case, and it's no excuse. And that even though, while it may be true that we don't know the struggles that people have to deal with, this doesn't mean that there's no such thing as right or wrong, and that there are no categories of good people and bad people and things like that. That's not what the takeaway should be. So let's go right into the text and see how the Alter Rebbe breaks this down. So the Alter Rebbe says that, however, in truth, even one who is very heated by nature, so we spoke about this last time, somebody who's very heated by nature and their livelihood is to sit on the street corner all day long, even for this person, it's not an excuse. We're not making excuses for their sins. So the Alter Rebbe is being very explicit here. So just because this is a reason why we don't judge them, we say we don't know what temptation they fall into. Somebody who has to be amongst people all the time and is out there in the world encountering different temptations, even though this is a reason for us not to judge them, we're not making excuses for them. And this type of person is still called a complete Rasha, because it still shows that the fear of God is not in front of their eyes at all. And they were still given the responsibility to control themselves and to hold themselves back against their impulses that are in their heart from the fear of God, who God sees all of their deeds. And as we learned, that the mind naturally rules over the heart from birth. So meaning to say, so this is the end of the section. It's really short, but basically what the Alter Rebbe is teaching us here is that he's reminding us that we learned that by nature, the mind rules over the heart, which means that it is within every single person's ability to rule over their impulses. And while it's true that we all have different temptations, we all have different things we encounter, we all have different struggles. So I don't know your struggle, you don't know my struggle, so we can't judge. We can't feel holier than thou, self-righteous. That is not something we should do. Nevertheless, this doesn't give a carte blanche for everybody to do whatever they want and for us to not see right or wrong in the world and for us not to point out wrongdoings when they are and to make excuses for people. So if we're seeing somebody do a sin, you see somebody stealing from somebody else or whatever. So it's sort of like two kind of things. It's like on the one hand, we shouldn't look down on them. Like we shouldn't think we're better than this person. Like because we don't know what struggles they're going through. On the other hand, we shouldn't make excuses for them and we shouldn't think of them as being good people, even if they're not good people. We shouldn't start getting into the psychology of like, really, this person is a very good person and it was just their circumstances that led them to get there. No, it's whatever. Sure, we all have different circumstances. We all have different temptations, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, there's good and there's bad. And we all have the responsibility and we all have the ability to overcome our temptations, whatever they are. And God created us in such a way that by nature, the mind does rule over the heart, which means we all do have the ability to control our impulses. So that is it for today. And we are going to continue with this. So stay tuned tomorrow and I'll speak to you then. Thanks for listening to the It Is Taught podcast, hosted by Sarit Switzer. This podcast is dedicated in loving memory of my maternal grandfather, Avraham Yitzchak ben Binyamin HaKohen of blessed memory. Music by Shoshana. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to support the show, please share it with others and subscribe on YouTube, Apple iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And make sure to leave us a 5-star review. To find out more about the It Is Taught project, including more information on my soon-to-be published book, please visit our website, itistaught.com. To catch the latest from me, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Looking forward to speaking with you tomorrow, and until then, have a great day.